Welcome to Uncorked, Wine Business and Life with Bill Green. I'm Jerrold Colton. And as usual, we're here from beautiful Saddlehill Winery in Voorhees, New Jersey. Now, Voorhees is literally just a stone's throw across the river from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And we have one of Philadelphia's real estate superstars here as our guest today, Bill.
My good friend Kristen Foote started 13 years ago when my wife and I decided that we were going to leave South Jersey and we were going to make our primary residence in Florida, but we weren't ready to give up the area. Mm-hmm. So we hunted down a really nice place in Center City, Philly. And that's when we met Kristen. And what impressed me about Kristen, and this ties into really the theme of what we do here on Uncorked, is she takes an incredible entrepreneurial approach to selling real estate. She's the best. So if you're looking for a multi-million-dollar condo, Kristen's the person to go to, and she's got an amazing story. So thank you very much for being with us, Kristen.
Thank you, and thank you for sticking with me for 13 years, Bill.
I know. You've sold me a few homes and networked you with a lot of my friends, and anybody says, good realtor in Philly, and of course, you're the first person I talk about. But, you are with Compass.
Yes.
It's a very large organization, and you love it, but what does that really mean to be with Compass? You are eat what you kill. And you are super aggressive out there, and you spend a lot of money on advertising. And you're not like a lot of realtors where they're just doing part-time gigs or retiree. Talk about the business and how things are going in general.
I'll be in the business 20 years next year. It's my 20th anniversary. So obviously I've seen a lot of ups and downs in the market and in the industry and in the business. I've been through 3 different brokerages. I was at Coldwell Banker, Berkshire Hathaway, and Compass most recently, and joined Compass 7 years ago when they came to Philadelphia. They recruited me. And I think you're always in any business, you're always trying to up your game a little bit. You always want to stay ahead of the curve and ahead of the trends. And Compass had some great technology that they were coming out with. They had a great platform. I'm not very tech savvy, but they do a great job of training us, and they just have made, and we've seen a lot of other brokerages follow suit from what Compass has done with their platform and the way consumers search and the way consumers find things, and find their homes and the way we market homes and the way we advertise homes. So it's been wonderful for me.
Talk about the current state of the market, because a few years ago, it was as hot as could be.
Yeah, well, interest rates are also at 2.5%. Their interest rates are at 2.5%. Now they're at 6.5%. So it's been a little bit more difficult. We're seeing inventory rise right now. There's a lot more inventory on the market because buyers are not, they're waiting, especially if you're looking at like the $1.5 million. Those clients that are really, those mortgage rates are important to them. The affluent buyers that are looking in the 3, 4s, and 5s, they're going to buy when they're ready and they see something that they like.
They're usually not taking a mortgage.
They're not affected by that. And if they do, they're doing a loan through their private bank or something like that. But they want to see something that, that it's just like when you bought in Philadelphia, there was no timing, there was no rhyme or reason. It was like, hey, we're ready, we're making this decision, it's go time. So as an agent, it's important for me to know everything that's on the market, especially in a certain area, and, have those relationships with other agents that are listing those homes so I can get you in quickly. I know those homes. I know the comps. I know everything about those properties. So.
Yeah, I know when we sold our first Philadelphia house, I kind of drove you a little crazy.
Yes.
But that was just par for the course.
Well, when you bought your second house, you wanted it, you saw it, you bought it, and you wanted it in 2 weeks.
That's the way it works.
Yes.
And how many weeks did it take?
It took 2 weeks because he said, I want this house. I want it, I want this house. It was just out of the blue. And that's what a lot of, the affluent buyers, we need to move. We're moving now. We want to buy this property, get it on the market. How quickly can you get it on the market and get it sold? And you have to be ready all the time to answer that phone call, to be responsive on that email.
Well, knowing him like I did, that was the start of a friendship. If you got it in 2 weeks and you wanted it, and it was ridiculous demand.
Yeah. It was.
But the other thing about Kristen, which I admire, is she gives back. This past year, she was co-chair of the Rittenhouse Ball, which is our Rittenhouse Park, which is privately funded. She did an amazing job. I mean, she is that super busy person that if you want something done, you give it to the busy person, and that's Kristen. So, and she's had a very interesting early life.
Yes.
Before going to GW,
Yes.
your dad was a diplomat,
Yes.
also known as a CIA agent.
Yes. I didn't know that.
Are we allowed to say that?
You're allowed to say that now. Yes.
And you've lived in 8 different countries. So talk about that growing up and how that impacted your life.
I was born in California, and like I said, we moved overseas from California to France when I was 6, and then I grew up in Europe, France, Portugal, Spain, Switzerland. I was in boarding school for a long time in Switzerland. We were in it was Czechoslovakia at the time, a variety of different countries. So I think me having to move and my family having to move all the time, every 3 years, it obviously resonated with me somehow. But I think also I met so many different personalities and so many different people and so many walks of life, whether it was diplomats and ambassadors or just all different people from around the world. And I think that was important in shaping who I am now and why I get along with so many people and how I know how to interact with so many people and communicate,
How many languages did you pick up on the way?
Well, I have Portuguese, Spanish, French.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Bill, we normally drink 3 glasses of wine. And since she just took us through France, probably a good segue to open our wine tasting.
I think, you know what? You're right. We've never had a guest where we poured for, because in the last 13 years, I've actually drank a bunch of wine with Kristen. So I know she's a big rosé fan. So we're going to do some rosé, which we normally don't do. We're going to throw that in. But let's start with the first one,
Okay.
which is actually, my surprise, our sweet white wine that we call Starflower is our #1 selling wine.
I like that name. Who came up with the names?
AI.
The first one is
Really?
to your 20 years in real estate.
Thank you. I'm going to have a party next year. Where should I have it?
Saddlehill.
Now that I've been here, I might have to get the tour and check out some location. No, I'm not kidding.
So for me, look, this is sweet. But honestly, if I was doing something really spicy, I would probably...
Like a spicier dish. Yeah.
So look, how do you make sweet wine? Add sugar to it. It's
Really?
dry wine with sugar. By about 5 or 6% sugar in this.
How many I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but how many wines total do you have at Saddlehill?
25.
25?
We have too many wines.
25 in how many years?
Well, 25 different
Wines, yeah.
this year.
Amazing.
We've only been open for 16 months, and then Kristen,
That's good.
less than 2 years ago,
Yes.
you had a major blow in your life.
Yes.
Diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yes.
Talk about, and I know I was keeping in touch.
Yeah.
It was pretty much a shit show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I went in for, not ashamed, I was going in for a routine exam, a mammogram, and, one day everything's good. And they came out and they were like, we need to do some further testing. And about a week later, I got a call on my way to a listing appointment. I was on my way to a big listing appointment. I remember I was in my car and the doctor called me and said, you have breast cancer. And I'm like, typical Kristen Foreman. Okay, what's the next steps? Like, let me get my notebook out. Like, who do I need to call? Wrote it down. Went on my listing appointment. Didn't really faze me. I came out and I said, okay, got to make these calls. And I was pretty calm about it. I didn't cry. I didn't do anything because you know why? Because I knew I was in Philadelphia, truly. And I said, we have the best doctors in the world right here in Philadelphia. There's no place I'd rather be. And I called my best friend, Frankie, and I called my parents. I said, Mom and Dad, I said, it was after I'd gotten my points. I said, Mom, Dad, I have cancer right now. And they were all upset. And they said, are you okay? I said, I know I'm going to be in the best hands possible. And not only that, like, I have so many friends around me, but there's so many wonderful hospitals and doctors, and I had so many resources. And I think through my network too, over the next 2 years, it developed into ovarian cancer and other complications. But I realized how many clients that I had that were doctors or were affiliated with so many hospitals. And they said, Kristen, like, you did so much for us. Like, let us do this for you. Call us. Like, we're a resource. We can get you in to these places. They said, and I said, and it just really made me feel good too. But it was a terrible journey, but
yeah, about 18 months old.
Yeah. But I had so many like wonderful people that were supportive, and it wasn't fun, but I think I'm on the better side. I think I'm a better person after all of this than I was before. I do think so.
And you went to your appointment that day, which shows everything Bill says about you.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, my next question was going to be, how much real estate did you sell while you were battling cancer?
I was still, both 2 years I was there, I was top 2 and 3 agent in the city. Still doing that because I love what I do. And I still was like, okay, I'm still going to keep going through it. I still told people, if this is what's happening to me and I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to sell your house or to do this if I don't think I can handle it. I wasn't, but it kept me balanced. And if I didn't think I could do it, I wouldn't do it. But yeah.
You definitely, it is pretty cool when I'm walking down 19th Street, my corner. And and I see Kristen, and there's a baby carriage, and I know she doesn't have a baby.
Nope.
And then Monkey pops out.
Yeah, little Monkey. Everybody knows Monkey, my dog.
Monkey is probably the famous little, what's that, like a Bichon or something?
He's a Maltipoo. Everybody knows him.
That's the most popular dog in Philadelphia.
He is. All the doormen know him. Everybody in the square knows Monkey. He comes into work. I said he's like the Monkey, but without Monkey, he was.
Oh, you push him in a stroller?
Sometimes. Sometimes.
Crazy.
Sometimes I do.
As we go back, we're going to go back a little bit in time, but where do you stand now health-wise?
I'm great. I'm really, really good.
You look great, and that's
Thank
great
you.
to hear.
I feel good. There's always room for improvements and getting stronger again, but mentally I feel really good. I actually feel clarity. I have a lot of nutritionists, and I had to have some additional surgeries and body work done, but we had such a good network, and it just showed me again, what a good network in Philadelphia, how many good resources that we have here. And
can we give some shout out in particular to doctors or facilities that were especially good to you?
Well, Penn Medicine was great. Penn Medicine
amazing.
did all my surgeries, and then Dr. Bucky and his team had to do my reconstructive surgeries, after, and then they helped me with a lot of post-surgical care, just, getting my at their
You were able to get Lou Bucky off the golf course?
Yes, I did. Actually, he called me personally. I don't know, he found out because I didn't tell a lot of people. And he said, if you ever need anything, my entire team is here. My entire team's here to help you out.
Wonderful. So this is going to be our second glass because we have to toast that you came through that nicely. And
it should be the pink one.
No, we're going to go next to our...
Pink's my favorite color, and it's for breast cancer.
That will be next.
Okay.
Okay, you want to switch? We'll switch them. Okay, let's go.
Who's the guest here?
Who's taking over the podcast?
I have a feeling that happens with a lot of things you do.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Cheers.
To good health.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's all about giving back too in the end too. And it's like, okay, I went through this. What can I do to help somebody make a change? And I can't tell you, after I posted things on Instagram, and I have a lot of followers, how many people said, we went and scheduled this. We went and did this. We scheduled this. Not just women too, men too. They were like, you know what? We're going to go get that colonoscopy that we don't want to ever get. And I said, do it, because one day you think you're fine, and the next day you're going into the hospital and you're like, I have cancer. So don't wait.
And Kristen, first of all, I want your comments on the rosé.
I love it. I had a bottle of it last week. Bill and Amy gave me a bottle, and it was so good, and I kept it because it's so pretty. My friend Frankie tried to take it, and I was like,
these are beautiful bottles.
I know.
Saddlehill, it's amazing. Great artwork. And Kristen, you made a comment that was really interesting. You feel like you're your better self even after what you went through. In what ways? What ways did it make you better?
I think I'm definitely a little bit calmer from this, and it's like you got to realize, learn to take things in stride a little bit more, and realize I put up boundaries with certain people in my life too. Like there were certain people, there was only a certain amount that I could let into my life at that time. So it was really important. The people that I told, and I didn't tell a lot of people, I told very, very few people, but those that I told were important to me, that I knew would support me. And then I realized there's people out there that, would not be supportive or judgy, or even in the business too, like try to take advantage of that I was in a bad situation. So you learn a lot about who your friends were and who really was on your side and your team. You learned a lot.
Stop and smell the rosé.
Yes. Drink the rosé.
That's wonderful. You really do learn your most in your down moments.
You do.
And when you go through really tough times, who really cares, who's really there for you.
And self-resilience too, how resilient you are as a person too. I never thought I'd be able to go through all that, but you do.
Kristen, you said it calmed you down. I can't believe what she must have been beforehand.
I know. I was always on the go and doing things. And I was always like, I mean, I still work a lot, but I was going out a lot more and I was never saying no to anything. And I was like, Kristen, it's okay. Like, you can take a vacation for a week. And guess what? Bill Green can wait for a week to have his house listed.
Oh, no,
and if he can't, then do you want to work? Because it's important to me. I'm going on vacation, you know? And, you know, I learned that too. I was like, but I used to be like, no, I'm going to cancel the vacation, or no, like, I'm just going to bake. Well, you know, but I'm like, you know what? I need this. And if you can't respect the fact that I'm going to go to Canyon Ranch for a week to better myself, then I don't know if I want to work with you.
Yeah, one of the things I love about Kristen is, you know, she's got a bunch of friends and she goes on vacations with friends. But if Kristen wants to go somewhere and she just goes by herself, picks herself up,
I do.
and just goes. I think a few years ago, I was saying, where the heck are you? You're in Palm Springs by yourself.
I went to Europe before by myself. I met my friends over there, but I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go because I have the opportunity. Like, let's go. Let's do this. I'm going to Oregon in a couple of weeks. And my friend, I'm doing a horseback riding and wine tour.
You're flying all the way to Oregon.
Yeah.
Right out that door right
We're going to do that later.
I got to believe some of the adventurous spirit came from your upbringing too, and seeing the world and knowing, hey, Philadelphia's great, but I can leave here and have really good experiences.
You can. And that's part of the reason, you know, when I moved to Philadelphia, it's so easy, like, to get to Florida, to get to New York, to get to DC. And I have to, like, I'm in New York a lot and I travel a lot just because I need that constant, like, what is it called? Like, you just need, I need to see new things and meet new people and go to museums, and I need that.
Because the trait of a Gemini woman is you need variety.
I do.
That means two Geminis on this set right now.
Yep.
But I'm not a Gemini woman. Anyway, Kristen, to me, it seems like you probably found the perfect profession.
Yes.
So what attracted you to real estate?
Do you want the truth? The truth was my first marriage.
I never heard this. Go on.
The truth is, the one time I was married, my husband at the time had a title company, and his sister was a real estate attorney, and they were buying a lot of his back. It was 20 years ago. So we were buying up properties, and they said somebody in the family should get a real estate license. And I was working in marketing and advertising, and me being me, I was like, I'll get it. I'll do it. I'll go to school. Like, why not? You know? And so I did it. And that 2005, 2006, it was still the height of real estate. Everything was, you know, you can get no doc loans and everything like that. It was easy, but I loved it because I could put my marketing and advertising into action. And, you know, I was a people person. And then I got divorced and I said, you know what, and everybody thought I was going to move back to Virginia and be near my family. I said, no, Philly's become home. I love real estate. I love my job. I was making friends. I enjoyed it. Selling homes is fun. You get to meet so many people.
So what has changed over your 20 years in real estate in Philadelphia? Because to me, I moved to Philadelphia. I spent most of my life in Cherry Hill till my own divorce. And then I've been in Philadelphia ever since. And it has changed a lot in the 16 years I've lived there. So you in your 2 decades as a real estate agent, what has it changed?
Prices have gone up. My second sale in real estate was $1.5 million. And back then that was like selling $4.8 million. It was very different then. And I thought I mean, it was a big deal then, but now, I mean, the prices we're seeing sales, you know, at the Delancey Street homes. I mean, those were going, when I first started selling real estate, those were going for $1 million. They're going for $4 and $5 million. We didn't have buildings like 10 Rittenhouse. We were dragging people into those condos to buy $3 million condos. So, you know, the prices have increased. You know, we've gotten to see a lot more new construction. I mean, look at our city skyline 20 years ago compared to, you know, right now. I mean, every time I drive into Philly, it's beautiful between the Comcast Center, I mean, Art House, you know, 10 Rittenhouse, all those buildings are beautiful. It's changed. The Laurel, all those buildings, it's incredible. It's like we have a beautiful skyline. Big thing that's changed in real estate, social media. Social media has been a big game changer. You know, I didn't have social media. We didn't have social media. I mean, having a website was a big deal, but social media has definitely changed the platform of selling real estate.
Well, you also didn't have Zillow and things like that.
We didn't have Zillow.
People can get their own maybe a little bit more and try to do their own thing, which I'm sure they still don't do very well.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's a lot more agents right now, but social media has played a big impact. I think there's a lot of that. What's missing, I'm seeing right now with younger agents coming into business, there's that personal interaction that's missing with people. That, people want to talk on the phone. People want to, they don't text or find things through social media. It's the personal relationships, I think, are very important.
Yeah. So I don't know, it was 4 or 5 years ago, I invested in a company called Hauser, which was kind of a new business model for real estate realtors, where they just hired basically salaried realtors, and you paid a flat fee for them to sell your house. And I figured, wow, this is going to be the future. Like, why would anybody pay a realtor 6%? And this just sounded so unbelievable. So I called Kristen and I said, what do you think? She said, no, I don't think it's going to work. And I said, how do you say that? Of course you're going to say that. You're the one making the 6 or getting the 6 or charging the 6%, I should say. And sure as shit, that business is gone. My investment's gone. And Kristen was right.
And the reasons it didn't work.
Just people want to talk to people. Some things are easy to put technology behind and disintermediate labor. And some businesses, I think, are pretty damn sticky to face-to-face and real-time relationships.
Realtors also, like, when you're getting a flat fee, like I've done deals with other companies that work on that too. But like when you're selling, and we make a good agent, I should say, a good agent's going to invest a lot of time and money because they want to make that sale. And yes, they do want to make that commission. I can't tell you how many nights and weekends and like how much you're investing to sell that property. We're more invested than somebody that's working on a flat fee. We are. Because you're spending the money. And also too, for me, like, when I say, as it comes, I said, I want to do the best job possible. I'm going to design your website. I want the best pictures. I want the best materials, because that's a reflection on me too, and my brand and my business. I'm not just slopping up, any pictures or just doing like a one sheet flyer. Like, no, one of my clients once said, and this was a game changer for me, it was my very first like high-end listing that I had. And I was shocked that she called me in for a meeting. And I said, why me? Why are you choosing me? She goes, because you representing my home, you're a reflection of my brand too, Kristen. My home, whoever represents me is representing myself and my brand. And I was like, wow, I never thought about it that way.
I feel that way. I'm a sports agent attorney, but I feel that way about my clients.
Yeah.
I'm a complete reflection of them. And interestingly enough, a lot of the clients, you can see why you would fit in with them.
Yeah.
Why they chose you. And that's a tremendous honor and responsibility that goes with that.
Of course.
So,
and I think we have a responsibility to drink the next wine.
we sure do.
I'm not done with my pink, but I love
See,
it.
this is we call it Tapestry because it actually has 2 wines in it. 75% of this is Sauv Blanc. So we pair it like a Sauv Blanc, but it has 25% of our Chardonnay. And I actually think it's amazing. And it really works well because there are people that don't really like either one. And this is just a great balance.
And this one's to your long friendship.
Oh boy. I didn't think I was going to make the cut after our first interview. He sat me down. I had an interview before you and Amy wanted to move to the city. I just sit down and have an interview.
We are very serious about buying our real estate.
I know.
Because we usually make lots of mistakes when we buy personal real estate. It's just, I don't think I've ever made money on personal real estate. I don't think I have.
Buy high, sell
high, sell low.
Yeah, but you're buying because you're buying because you love it there.
Exactly.
You're buying, you're loving it there. You have to love where you live, and
you've had.
Well, look, we felt, when we bought our house on Delancey Street, we were thinking, oh yeah, this is going to be great. We're going to live here forever. And, it's what a great place when we're not in Florida to be. And
it is,
I'm checked out. I just think Philly changed after COVID, and it did.
Well, wait, don't get ahead because I want to stay on one thing before we get there. We're going to hold that note. But when you first interviewed her and you were taking it seriously and you weren't decided yet, what about her made you hire her?
The fact that she was 36 years old and really pretty and they were shit.
How about I was smart?
I didn't get that part.
But I had to prove myself. He put me through the ringer.
What I liked was she was a full-time agent. It was a business. Yes. And she treated it like it was her business and it wasn't her flag, but she represented it. It was her business. It was eat what you kill. And I just had a lot of confidence in her ability to execute for us.
And Bill, just a note on the wine. Why Tapestry? And the reason I asked, by the way, and Kristen, you are one of several.
My age.
Well, you're one of several really terrific, inspiring young ladies we've had on our podcast. And look, I have seen the world transition to, I call you guys badass women, but it's probably not fair. But you are one of them. And Tapestry is the name of what I think is the finest album by any female ever, Carole King, back in 1973.
And she was one of mine. And I remember, I was probably like 14 years old.
It still goes back to.
And I had that album, and I loved, she was pretty. She was pretty too.
It still holds up over 50 years later.
Yeah.
So why Tapestry for the name? Do you know?
So it's because it's two wines, and I just kind of thought it was cool, and that was it. We have really no rhyme or reason to a lot of these names.
No, Kristen.
It's when something inspires you with anything.
Kristen, I'm curious. I want to go to the tough parts of the industry and then hit you with get you back to the high points. But from the outside, there's been a lot of things about real estate that have said to me, yeah, this is a great profession, and a lot of things have said not so great.
Yeah.
One of them is all the time you have to spend showing things that are not fruitful. Now, I know it's all in the sale in the end, and you hopefully make a nice commission at the end to justify all that. But how does that feel as you go through that?
It was hard in the beginning, but now I find there's balance, and there's some houses that that could take a year to sell. So you have to be very conscientious of the listings that you take on and the conversations you have with those sellers and their intentions early on. But you also know that there's times where, hey, I'm going to take somebody into a new construction and they're going to buy it. And it's balance. It's all balance. And you're going to win some and you're going to lose some too. And you just have to, I've learned to be more conscientious of who I take on as clients and listings. And I think after my cancer journey too, I think I've been more cautious of when I go in and meet buyers or sellers for the first time too. I'm like, no, can't invite them into my life, or I don't want to take this on as part of my brand and invite them into my world, because I do work really hard for everyone. And I can give it an A+ every time I go in.
And
to a listing. I work really hard.
And that's clear. And I know how good a friend and how loyal he is, but I also know how tough he can be. So for you to still be here,
why did your eyes?
Because I remember this one time you and Amy were out to dinner, and it was a Friday night, and I was tired. I was at home. I was ready to call it a day, and I had to work Saturday morning. And you said, Kristen, get up. We're out to dinner with friends right now. You need to come over to Park and meet them. And I'm like, I think I was at home in my rollers and had cleaned up for the night. You're like, they want to buy this house, XYZ house. And if you want this sale, you need to come now. And I'm like, okay. I jumped off the couch. Literally, I jumped off the couch. I was like, pull it together. But he was like, but if not, we'll give it to him. I'm like, okay, I'm coming right now. I'm coming.
Well, that's why I called her, because I could have called 3 other realtors right now, and they would have said, yeah, tomorrow. And I said, no, it's now. And business is now.
And I said, in the hospital, she would have came.
I would have.
Probably.
I did. After my first surgery, I was still negotiating. I don't know how. I was still negotiating a deal. That's how I am. But, it's tough. He's like, if you want this, you're going to come. I said, I will. I said, let me just, freshen up. But it was also... He goes, I know you know that house. Do you know that house? And I knew everything about that house that was on the market. And I said, okay. I came over and I met everyone. And I'm friends with everybody after that too. I became very close friends with everybody that was involved.
You got his whole family.
Yeah.
His daughters and everybody. And they are
an extended family.
And extended family. And friends.
So, Kristen, I talked about maybe the frustrating parts of this stuff that can be time consuming and not yield anything. Talk about the highs. And I got to believe the sale, the listings really are euphoric still.
It is euphoric. And yeah, you don't have those sales, but I always say you're only as good as your last sale. But it's the people that you meet truly during those times that I've truly have developed some very special relationships. And there's people that I've developed special relationships with, people that I've listed their house and they've moved. And I'm like, God, I wish I had known you before, because there are a lot of fascinating people in Philadelphia. And I wouldn't have that opportunity if I didn't do what I did. And yes, I list some amazing homes and some beautiful, you get some record sales and this and that. Of course, that's a high, but then that goes away after a month. Nobody remembers that. But it's the relationships that you have with people that really stay forever. And when you're invited to people are like, come to our wedding or come to, our, we just had a baby or like, or they refer you again too, because they're thinking about you. And like, those are the things that are memorable.
Right. Or
Those sales,
my winery and be on my podcast.
come to my winery, have some wine. But those really are home sales are great. They come and go.
Bill mentioned
They do.
earlier on the Rittenhouse Ball.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. I know it's a big event. I've actually never attended it, but I do have to in the future now. So tell us about that great event.
It's an annual fundraiser that the Rittenhouse Square, and that's predominantly where I do all my business, is funded by, it's not funded by the city at all. So it's the residents that actually have to, the city does not pay for any of it, not the garbage, not like garbage pickup, not grass maintenance, anything. So it basically runs on donations from the residents around the square. So the ball is the biggest fundraiser every year, and it's held usually in June or October. So I was a co-chair for it last year, and I'm chairing it myself this year again. I volunteered to chair it. And it's the 50th anniversary, and it's also the 250th anniversary of the country. So it's going to be like a really big celebration. So I'm going to have to up myself from last year, but we have some fun things planned. But it was fun. Everybody had fun, and it's important. It was, I felt it was an easy role for me to go into because I knew so many people, and to get people to come and get people to donate or do in-kind donations and things like that. But just seeing, everybody have a good time and educating people too. I felt like I was a voice that could educate people on why you're having this event and why it's important, because so many people don't know that.
We got some changes going on in the square right now too.
Yeah, a couple.
So
All for the good.
Definitely all for the good. Bill, we got one more wine to taste.
We do have another wine. So this one is actually one of my favorites. It's called Renegade. It's a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc below, and a grape called Blanc Frankish, which is not very well known, but it's a terrific grape. So this makes a really nice medium blended wine. And the 2022 vintage of this was called Lisa's. It was named after my sister who passed away. And the 23 vintage we called Renegade, and I made a mistake. I wanted to call it Renegade Lisa's Vineyard because my sister was a renegade. So, but next year it will be called Renegade Lisa's Vineyard. But it's really a terrific medium-bodied
Your in-house
dry
ball.
wine.
Thank you. And to your sister.
We always toast her. She's always with us.
I'm not a big red drinker, but that's nice.
Pretty good though, right?
Yeah.
It's really nice.
I might have to take some home. So I can
I tell you what,
really enjoy
it
it.
would be unbelievable. I get a guest that would actually buy wine on the way out.
I'll buy some.
Kristen, so what goals, desires, future do you see for yourself? And
Not spilling Bill's wine.
you kept it together.
I love what I do, but I love what I do, and hopefully I will continue it, but it would be nice to settle down at some point. I am mid-life right now. I am midlife, and I think especially after what I had gone through and everything like that, I think it's maybe important to get on to the next phase of my life. And,
Well, Bill, I know you're in good hands with your real estate.
I am in really good hands with my real estate.
really good.
In Philadelphia.
Kristen,
Could be Florida too. I'm getting my Florida license.
Really?
Yeah.
That's big.
I
and
know.
that's his other home.
And New York.
That one's never getting sold. New York.
Yeah.
New York's cool.
I've been going to New York a lot, so we're going to do New York. It was that, but I was like, I'd rather do Florida than the shore.
And Compass could
Yes. Yeah.
support you anywhere.
Yeah. There's a lot of teams that people that have their license here get Florida or New York and Florida, and that just happens to be my sphere of influence. So,
Would that mean you'd become a Florida resident?
well, I have to live there for 6 months of the year, right? Yeah.
181 days.
181 days, but who's
Really
counting?
nice days.
The Greens managed to do it. So you guys, Kristen, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank
It's
you.
really been a pleasure. I see why Bill thinks the world of you, both professionally and personally, and wish you all
She
the
knows
best.
my family. I mean, she's part
But
of
she
the
does
family.
because of what you thought of her in the first place. And
Well, that
did
was,
for you.
that was just me. You know,
I knew you guys before you had grandchildren.
I know you did. I know you did. Yeah.
and I really trust Amy, his wife's judgment.
Yeah.
She, of course, thinks everything of you too.
So, Kristen, thanks. Thanks for being on Cork. Thanks for coming to Saddlehill. And thanks
Finally.
for so many years of friendship.
Thank you. Cheers.
And to everybody who watched, listen, thank you as always for joining us. On behalf of our guest, Kristen Foote, who we are so thankful to be here, Bill Green, I'm Jerrold Colton, and also Tyler Constantino, who always makes us look good. Thanks for listening to Uncorked. We'll catch you next time.